chose not to have the surgery. He chose to rest and relax and hope it goes away. And then he ended.
We took a look at Gilmore, and if we got Gilmore, we win in the division. I feel like, you know what I mean? I feel like Stephon Gilmore.
Richard Rodgers. He's with our team over the last couple of years. It's just about our fourth time picking him up. What does that mean for...
Welcome to another episode of Bird Gang Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, Bird Gang 31. Today, we have a very special guest with us in the nation, guys. We got Superfan Jalen Williams. I know you guys have seen him in the chats. You have seen him on the Philly the podcast show. You've seen him on Gate City show. You know, always breaking down, giving good conversations and breakdowns of each team. So welcome to the show, Jalen. What's up, man? How you doing today?
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Feel good to be here.
Nice, man. So let everybody know, how long you've been a Birds fan, what made you decide to pick Philly as your team, and, how you feeling about the team this year?
Been an Eagles fan since 2002. So I'm about to approach 20 years being an Eagles fan. The whole reason why I'm an Eagles fan in the first place is because of Donovan McNabb. Basically, when I was growing up, you heard a lot of stuff about, hey, you can't be a black quarterback. All black quarterbacks do is run back in the day. That's the one thing I saw. But Donovan sat in the pocket, picked people apart. I was like, oh, man, he's actually doing what they saying he can't do. And that's the whole reason why I'm an Eagles fan today.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
That's kind of what got me started. It's a little bit longer ago, but it was with Randall Cunningham. I tell everybody, I hated professional football. I was all about college football. The speed of the game was a lot faster. It was a lot more, option plays and stuff like that. But then my dad sat me down with watch the Eagles, man. Randall Cunningham. I watched the Randall Cunningham game against the Cowboys, man. And that game where you see them all, moving around, going side to side, making spectacular passes, man. That's what really got me to become a Birds fan, man. It was awesome. And from that day on, that defense was really tough, laying hits all over the place. So that's what really got me started on the Eagles. So how you like the team so far this year?
I like the foundational pieces that we have in play. I think with some development, these guys can be at least starter level in the NFL. I'm not going to say they're going to be that guy day one, no. But I do like that you have somewhere, a young body at each key position. That's one positive I can say. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, linebacker, and I guess you'd say safety. We all have young guys there. The only thing is I need those guys to develop, and I think we're in good shape after that. But understand, until they develop, they're going to go through their growing pains, and sometimes you have to understand when to cut bait. So that's where I kind of am with the team. So it's basically, hey, when you're doing good, great. I'm going to bear with you through the growing pains because you're learning. But understand, we're not tied to you. You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I am with the team right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I feel you at that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have our growing pains. You know, we're gonna have some, rookies make some mistakes out there because we got a lot of young players out there. You know, like I always say though, we do have veterans in the key spots that hopefully will keep us at bay and keep us winning some football games this year. You know, our offensive line looking good. And as long as they're healthy, they should definitely be, top five, top three in the league, all together healthy. And then same for our defensive line. And that's what really wins football games in this league. You having this foundation on offense and defensive line. Now everyone else, if you have that, everywhere else you can kind of, they can kind of make their mistakes, what I'm saying, from here time to time, and we should still be all right. So I'm very interested in seeing like, what goes on this year, who's going to be the key players. So who do you think is going to be the standout players on the offensive line this year?
All eyes on Mailata right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mailata has a lot of potential. I think as a fan base, we've overhyped him to be like he's the new, I guess say Jonathan Ogden or whatever, Joe Thomas right now. But the thing is, he has a lot of development needed. You get what I'm saying? He's very good. He's using his physical gifts to make stuff happen. But the thing is, he needs to refine his technical side. And then once he gets that down pat, we can actually see what he is as a player. But until then, hey, it's wait and see. But I do really, really like him.
Mailata.
Yeah.
And what would you think about Landon Dickerson? Are you on the boat of keeping Landon at bay all year long, or do you believe if his talent's the greatest talent, put him in as soon as possible as long as he's healthy?
Put him in as soon as possible. My thing is, I understand that we're trying to win now and everything like that, but the thing is, you brought in all this youth to make sure these guys can play. Make sure you have somebody who can play. You don't want to get 3 years in and say this guy's terrible. I wasted 3 years not replacing this guy. So my thing is, I want to see what he can do now because straight off the bat, I think this is a learning year for us in general. I don't think this is a competing year. I don't think this is hey, we need to go ahead and do X, Y, and Z type year. I just want to see growth from this team. So put the young guys in, let them make their mistakes, let them grow from their mistakes from this year to the next year. So you understand what you have going forward.
Nice. Hey, hold on. Shout out to the 10 in the chat. Big Play Slade, Joy Fighter, Mrs. BIRDGANG, One Trey Rock. You know what I'm saying? Rashad's in the building. We got Lucas Hallman, Bobby Murphy, Nina's in here. Nina Austin, what's up? All you guys, please hit that like. You know what I'm saying? Let's get them likes up this video. Much love to all you guys. And if you guys know any birthdays coming up, please hit the La Touraine link at the top of the comments and use promo code BIRDGANG31 to get 10% off your purchase. You know what I'm saying? We partnered up with them, so let's try to get some of them watches out for some nice gifts, everybody. Yeah, like you were saying though, I don't see it that way. You know what I'm saying? That's the fan side of me. Like, I think this is a winning year. I think we had our losing season last year. You know what I'm saying? We got all them young guys that, experienced early. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that since they got that experience, even kind of Jalen Hurts, everybody's like down on Jalen Hurts. Like, I think even that 4-game, it was only a 4-game sample size, but that also let him know how the league is. So when he went into this offseason, he kind of already knew what to expect from everybody, you know what I'm saying, what to expect from the rest of the league. And that's why he worked as hard as he did this offseason, so he can get back this year, you know what I'm saying, knowing full well, even like the young guys like Dak Driscoll, like Nate Herbert, you seen Driscoll get bigger, you seen Herbert get smaller, you know what I'm saying, they know what to expect. You had Toth, you had all these other linemen, even what's his name, Dillard. He hasn't played up to his full potential, but he still knows what it takes, now to be a successful lineman in the league, So I think they kind of all got their bumps early, and now this season with the offseason behind them, and with, the time that they've been practicing, these joint practices and the preseason action that some of these guys got to get in, I think they'll be ready to roll for game one. You know what I'm saying? Like, are we a Super Bowl winning team? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like, probably majority of people will say no right now. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's not realistic for most eyes. But can we go compete and even make the playoffs this year? I think so. With a fourth place schedule, our division not really being that big of a deal, I think that there's a possibility that we can really turn some heads and make some noise this year.
Definitely.
How do you feel about our running back situation? We only kept 3. We do got Howard in on the practice squad. Do you think that's going to be enough? A lot of people are shocked that we only kept 3, but I think we always only kept 3, if I'm correct.
No, we kept 4 for the last 2 years. And the last running back slot would either go to Corey Clement or Boston Scott. Mm-hmm. 2 years ago, the last running back slot would have been Jonathan Adams or Corey Clement. Jay Ajayi? So I'm thinking 2 years back. Jay Ajayi was the number 2 or 1. Then it was somebody else we had as well. Forgot. Mm-hmm. But we always kept 4.
Okay.
Can't start a channel, man.
He said, can't start his channel. But hey, they looking at you, my guy.
Yeah.
They want you out there. Now, how do you feel about the 3 that we did keep?
I like Sanders, but I think he needs to be a 1-2 punch guy. I know where his game needs to grow at. He needs to learn how to tempo and pace himself, and I know his limitations as a player. He's never going to be a very physical runner. He's going to probably run through some arm tackles because how fast he's moving, but he's never going to be, okay, I hit a guy, I bounce off of him, now I keep going. He's never going to be that guy. But he is going to be the guy, if he develops right, he stays on his zone track, he's patient, he hits the holes fast and hard. That's where you get a bunch of these breakout runs, 20, 30, 40 house calls, That's the type of running back he is.
So you're thinking maybe kind of like more like a McCoy? Without the shiftiness?
I'll say it like this. McCoy wasn't a house call to me. So a lot of McCoy's runs was he reversed field, and now everybody has to chase him because of that. But every time he got open, somebody always hawked him down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Miles ain't getting caught up from the back. You know what I'm saying? Like he definitely making that long haul down there. How you like
make one man miss and you give him open field, he's gone. That's the type of guy he is.
Okay. And what about how you think that number 2 running back spot between Boston Scott and Kenny Gainwell? Give me your take on both of those guys.
I don't think either one of those 2 are the number 2.
No,
it's Jordan Howard. It's just a roster move that's going on. So the reason why you have Howard on the practice squad is because you're trying to keep guys on your team so you don't lose them to waivers. Mm-hmm. And they have that, hey, just don't go nowhere type deal of stay here. Mm-hmm. We'll get you right. You're going to be, your contract's guaranteed, even though it's not guaranteed.
Right.
Situation, but he's the number 2 back. But when you talk about Boston and Gainwell, I think Boston Scott, we know what he is. Right. He's dependable in a pinch. He can get the job done, but he's never going to be the killer of a team except against the Giants. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He's never going to be the guy who's like, oh my God, we have to game plan for him. He's the change the pace back. Now, Gainwell, on the other hand, it's all potential. He's shown a few flashes in the preseason, but the thing is, it's all potential. He has to figure out the speed of the game. He has to figure out where, what his assignments are. He has to have his head in the playbook. Right now, everything's moving a million miles an hour for him right now. Mm-hmm. And I think his position on the depth chart is a good one because you're not relying on him that much. You get what I'm saying? You can ease him into the season.
hit them in certain positions, line them up here, line them up in different spots, but it'd be like scheme based for that game, you know what I'm saying? Give them a couple
Yeah.
like 5-6 plays. These are 5-6 plays this game, as long as you know how to do these 5-6 plays good, we should be good, you know what I'm saying? Where you don't really have to worry about him knowing the whole entire playbook, with all the pass, block protection and all that kind of stuff, kind of like ease him into the season. Yeah, I agree with
Yep.
that one. I agree in that one. Hey, shout out to Alcabell,
Yeah.
the analyst, for being up in here. Big victory.
What's going on, my man?
You know what I'm saying? Showing some love. Y'all hit that like, my guys. Yeah, so let's go to the tight end spot. Everybody's kind of confused going into week 1. What do you think is going down with our tight ends? Is it Goddard's year, so he's going to be the starter, but we will see a lot of Ertz too, so no one should really worry about it because you're going to see both of them this year? Or do you think Ertz is going to start the season off the starter, and Goddard's going back to his backup role until the end of the year and Ertz get out of here?
Now, this is the conspiracy theory position on the team. So based off what happens, if Goddard is taking the bulk of the reps, Howie Roseman is making that call. Because Ertz is better than Goddard.
You think he is better than Goddard?
Yeah, I know he is. He's better than Goddard because
the route running bigger, faster, stronger, and he passes run blocks better.
A lot of people thought about that about Jason Witten as well. But Jason Witten has outlasted and was better than a lot of tight ends going forward in the league. You get what I'm saying? Bigger, stronger, faster guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's all well and good until somebody actually knows what they're doing. Goddard, on the other hand, his route running is I'm not gonna say subpar. His route running needs more improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he can run block, but
what is
he really gonna do?
He does get open too sometimes. He's had some nice catches so far, this training camp, and some deep balls, some things that I think that Ertz can't do at this stage of his career.
Yeah, I definitely get the limitations on Ertz, but the thing is, what Ertz does well, he does at a borderline elite level.
Mm-hmm.
But the other part about it is, how can I say this? Goddard's still learning where he fits in to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what
Ertz knows he's an elite tight end. Goddard's still hoping to be an elite tight end. Still learning his way through the ropes to try to become an elite tight end. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my thing is, Ertz knows what he knows his niche. He always has that go-to, hey, I can sit down 7 yards, boom, I can catch the ball consistently.
Mm-hmm.
With Goddard, his routes have been a little lacking. He turns around, oh man, I'm a few steps off. Or if I'm trying to take something deep, yeah, I'm good, but my positioning is a little bit off. I should have stayed a little bit tighter, to the line, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Okay, because it made an easier ball to throw. That's the stuff that Goddard's still figuring out. His talent is definitely there.
Mm-hmm.
But as a better player, Ertz is still a better player today.
Nice. Before we go into the last two on that tight end depth chart, Victory said, do you think there's any chance that Johnson comes back this year?
Johnson.
Carry on. Because I was a really big carry on guy too. I know he got hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That kind of threw off everything. But you know what I'm saying? The season is long. And I think there's a possibility that he can come back later on in the season.
I wouldn't doubt we'd bring him back in if we had an injury.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is the rest of the league looking at him saying, he's on the street. We have a guy injured. We need him now. Let's grab him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing I'm looking at. I wouldn't be surprised if we brought him back in if Boston Scott, went down. You need a body to replace him. You're not going to replace him with Holyfield. You're not going to replace him with Huntley. No, you're not going to replace him with Huntley. He'd be your best option if you're trying to win. Carry on Johnson. He's young enough. He might have something. He might be able to latch on with your team, going forward. But it honestly depends on the rest of the league of how, injuries and everything else sold out, because he is probably in them as well.
Okay, we got Victory saying you keep Ertz so that you can shortchange Goddard and contract negotiations. That's true. You
Yeah.
definitely cannot give you that elite tight end money if you got a guy starting over you or, taking up 50% of those reps.
And think about this. If we're talking about Goddard one top 5 money, that's a top 5 tight end right there. We're not going to pay him top 5. You're not better than him. Why would I pay you top 5 money?
Mm-hmm.
That's the big thing right there. And that's why I say it's a conspiracy theory at that position, because Sirianni is preaching, hey, competition, best man win.
Mm-hmm.
Best man is Zach Ertz.
Mm-hmm.
But if Dallas Goedert starts, that's a call from up top.
Mm. Yeah. One Trey Rock says facts. Ertz better than Goddard.
Yeah.
What's good, Rod? Well, what about the last two on that depth chart, though? Tyree Jackson is on the injured list. I see, that's my conspiracy theory with the whole tight end situation. We kept 4 for a reason, because I feel that once we get into the season around week 7 or 8, whatever the trading deadline is, around that time, that if Tyree Jackson's looking good, but that we can get him back on the field doing some drills or whatnot. And if another team needs a tight end, we can boost Ertz's stock back up and then trade him by that trading deadline. Then you have his replacement coming in with Tyree Jackson. And then you have Tyree Jackson, Goddard, and Stoles as your tight ends.
I agree with that. As a matter of fact, I think part of the reason why he even made the roster in the first place is because I think the type of contract and the way everything's set up, because I think he'd be not a restricted free agent. It's the same way. What's Buddy name? Travis Fulgham came back without having to sign a new deal.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same premise. That's why you kept him on the actual roster, or you signed him to the practice squad. Because if we had let him go, someone would probably, sign him to their, actual roster, and IR stashed him, and they get the extra year based off what they saw in the preseason with us and what they've been hearing from our camps.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the whole premise behind that.
You think that would be a good move for the team if we got some good trade value? Say we got like a second or third for Ertz, mid-season, and then you got.
But I think we can get good trade value because people will be desperate. I think 4th is probably
even during the middle of the season when the team really needs a tight end. That's usually where you fleece teams off. You know what I'm saying? Where you're able to get that good trade off because teams kind of get in that desperate mode. Like, yeah, I need a good player to fill this position, and you get a little bit more than if he were to get traded before the season or in the off season.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're coming from with that. But the thing is, I'm looking at it like this: they know what we're doing. Hey, we're gonna keep him. We like him. We love him. We're gonna lose him at the end of the season anyway. You're gonna lose him for nothing. You're gonna lose him for something. So that's really what they're coming. I always look at the other side of the fence as well, because I'm not gonna over. If you're another fan base, you don't want your team to overpay. If you're other GM, you don't want to overpay. You're not going to. I'll call your bluff. Either you get something for them or you get nothing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get it. I get it. And that's what Howie's doing right now. He's trying to up that value more to get a better chance of getting. So you don't think, say, we get to that time, and, he doesn't have like 6 touchdowns, like 400 yards. You don't think 400 or 500 yards by that time. You don't think there will be a chance that we can get. What's the most you think we can get for Zach Ertz? 4th. Even him playing at his high level, 4th round pick.
The reason why is he's an aging tight end. He's an old player. He's not old. He's on the wrong side of 30, I should say. He has 1 year left on his deal. You're trying to trade him anyway. All of that stuff goes against what we're going to get back for him. If he had 2 years on his deal, that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
Versus this is his last year regardless. Like last year, you may have gotten a third.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe a second if he's, Zach Ertz of old. But this year, he's coming off a down year. Yeah, he may, show some production, but how much of it is, okay, there's no one else to throw to. We're just going to feed the volume to him. Or how much is it, there are some other options out there we can probably go after as well. Or you're still asking too much because everyone else has jobs on it, on the line.
Yeah.
You got to make some type of fair trade. So that's why I'm saying fourth is the absolute highest.
4th round pick. Hey.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't be that bad, you know what I'm saying, if we got a 4th round pick for him. It wouldn't be great, but, like Vic said, then you might be more on the side of keep him to the end of the season and let him play out the last year, you know what I'm saying?
But look at it this way. If we don't make the playoffs, that's a higher draft pick because he's on the team, more possibilities of winning. He walks in the offseason somewhere else.
Compensation pick.
Comp picks are based off of a formula, what you got coming in and what you got going out.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So there's no guarantee you even get a comp pick for him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, honestly, it's a possibility he walks for nothing this offseason. Yeah.
And what you see of our receiving core this year? Are you as high on them as I am? The triplets up there with Ertz, Quez, and Rager? Or you think that's going to be another one of them spots where it's going to have their lumps? They're going to get their lumps early, and hopefully by the middle of the season they pick it up.
They're going to take their lumps. My thing is, it's just making sure they understand what they can do well in an NFL game.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to do it at practice. It's another to do it in the game. It's another thing to be game planned against. It's another thing to understand week to week. You're seeing different looks. There's different guys. There's different competition levels. And understanding how they're playing you, who they're playing you with, and what your tendencies are. And all that stuff is being compounded on you versus in a practice setting. Hey, we're going to run this play. The defense is going to run this play. We're both trying to get better. That's it, But they're going to take their lumps. I do like the receiving core. Truth be told, I wasn't that big on Devontae Smith in the draft to the point of giving up a third. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. I think the move of moving up with the 3rd round pick kind of put a dent in my grading for that pick.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, it's still a good player, good value for the spot. Fine with it.
Yeah, because I like him, but I always tell everybody I wanted Waddle. I was more high on Waddle than I was on Devontae. But I definitely like Devontae too, so they both worked out. But the fact that we can get a 1st round, if we would have just got Waddle and no extra 1st round pick, as opposed to getting Devontae Smith and a 1st round pick, I think we made out better that way.
Say it one more time.
You know how, like, if we would have stayed at 6 and just got like Waddle, you know what I'm saying, or something like that, then, or doing what we did where we were able to pick up another 1st round pick and Devontae Smith together, you know what I'm saying? I think that's a higher value than just getting like a player like Waddle, or even if we got Chase or Pitts or either one of those players.
Yeah, my thing is, my only issue with, I had no problem with moving back from 6 to 12 and picking up a 1st round pick. My issue was you gave up a third to move basically one spot up to jump somebody to get a wide receiver when honestly you could have given them 2/5, 2/5, some late round picks, something from another year's draft in the later rounds to make sure that compensation, was intriguing enough, and they knew who you were going to go select. So go ahead and put that together versus you spending an extra 3rd round. You lose an extra 3rd round pick to move up one spot. The value there wasn't right to me, Like the player, didn't like the way we acquired him at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get you there. Let's jump over to the defensive side. We got a defensive line. Everybody expecting to be tops in the league, one of the best defensive lines in the league. Everybody worry about our depth, but from the depth perspective, I see, we got Barnett, Milton Williams, Kerrigan, and who did we keep on the other defensive lineman we kept?
BG, what was it? BG,
I mean,
Kerrigan,
for backups,
Jackson.
yeah.
Jackson Johnson. I forgot the last name. I think it's Jackson.
Yeah.
The other guy, Patrick Johnson, is the outside linebacker.
Yeah. So, do you think we got enough depth, and do you think that this can be a top defensive line in the league?
I think it can be a top defensive line in the league, definitely. The issue is, after this year, we're not going to really have anybody. The reason why I say that is last year, Barnett's deal. Last year, Sweat's deal. BG, he's definitely not coming back on that deal that he's on now. So it's basically a void year after this year. So you're cutting bait with BG. There's talk of after this year, you voiding Fletch contract.
Yeah, so, I heard about that. That was going to actually be one of my next questions. Do you think we should keep Cox after this year if he does not restructure that deal? We got Marlon back there. We got Milton Williams back there. We still got, Hargraves on a big contract.
Yeah.
And, hopefully Tua, my boy, Marlon Tua Tolopo can get up and do some big things, What do you think is going to happen with that situation?
I think this might be Fletch last year.
Last year?
Yeah. And this is just strictly the business side of me talking. You have a guy making 20 plus million. Your team is young. You get what I'm saying? I know as fans, we don't want to hear the thing of rebuilding. But the thing is, it's an actual rebuilding year. You get what I'm saying? It's sold to us as it's retooling. We're going to be this. We're going to be that. No, this is a rebuild. You have to learn how to cut bait at the right time. That cap room with Fletch is more valuable than Fletch is to us right now. If we were in contention, no, you keep him because you're a young team. We're trying to figure this out. A lot of those guys don't have real NFL experience yet. You get what I'm saying? They don't know what they don't know. You get what I'm saying? The bullets are about to really start flying next Sunday. Fletch, love you as an Eagle. I wish you could have stayed a long time Eagle. But the business side of it is, hey, we can't afford that money going forward because our cap situation isn't that good either. So it's like that.
My deal with Fletcher Cox is, if we're paying you that much money and you want to stay, produce more. I understand that you do produce, like, there are things besides sacks, that you can look at and see that Fletch he is one of the best run stuffing defensive tackles in the league. But to get paid that kind of money, I need you to add some sacks to that, statistical category. You know what I'm saying? If we were paying you $10 million, $12 million, in that range a year, you know what I'm saying? Then it's cool you just being the best run stuff defensive tackle. But, making that quarterback money, that $20 million a year type money, I need some sacks, I'm not comparing them to Aaron Donald, but, Donald does both.
Yeah.
And he makes that kind of money. You need to do both too. Same with Hargraves. We gave him a fat contract. I think he might even make a little bit more than Sweat. You need to give me some more sacks this year. And if you guys can't produce that, then we need to get some guys that want to make $20 million a year that can actually do it.
Now, I'll say it like this. We talked about the things of Fletch isn't producing as much. I think Fletch covers up so many holes on his defense, it limits his production. You get what I'm saying? That secondary has been bad for the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And one of the things you'll notice, a lot of teams, they'll go ahead and double team Fletch, okay? We're going to roll the pocket towards Fletch. So he's going to hit body after body after body. He's not going to have a straight one-on-one rush ever in the passing game. And he's a big guy. He's an older dude. Not saying older, but he's right there at 30. You get what I'm saying? He has to have fresh legs. You're just wearing him out. And then once you wear him out, the rest of the defense goes. That's what's really
in that same note, though, you got guys like Donald who does get double and triple team too and still produce those high level sacks. You know what I'm saying? And he's smaller than Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox is a way bigger, stronger man. He should be able to handle it more than that little guy should be able to handle it. You know what I'm saying?
But the Rams defense is a lot better.
As a whole.
But so
we're still up there in sacks in terms of the defensive line, you know, and we're running a horrible defense. You know, that Jim Schwartz wide 9 defense kind of sucked too.
But the thing is, a lot of the defense itself hinged on Fletch. So you look at the sacks, those sacks wouldn't be there without Fletch. Fletch is pushing the pocket from the interior, shortening the edge, letting BG get more pressure, or somebody else falls into a sack. And that's where a lot of people don't feel, how can I say this? They feel like, oh, BG's doing this, but Fletch, you're not doing anything. But Fletch is pushing the pocket against 2 guys. Okay. Shortening the edge for BG. Barnett is bending the edge now, putting the pressure on it. Hey, we get a sack or it's a bomb. That's really what it was with our defense. That's all.
But with that too being said, though, we have good defensive linemen around Fletch. You know, you can't even really name the people that Aaron has around him, you know, all the time from year to year. We actually have good defensive line. Like BG's no slouch. You know what I'm saying? Like Sweat and Barnett. Barnett was a first-round draft pick. You know, Sweat has been coming to his own the last couple of years. You know what I'm saying? We've had someone solid next to Fletch, whether it's Hargrave or what was that dude that came over here from the Ravens? Super Bowl year. Timmy Jernigan, and then Malik Jackson's. Like, we've had bigger name players on the side of him too. So it's like, I don't feel like you can say that it's just because Flex is taking all the attention. That's the only reason why these are actually still good players around him, where I feel like that should push him to be able to get more, you know.
The best way to explain it is take Fletch out that defense and put Fletch off to the side. Now let's evaluate everybody else on who they are individually. They're not that effective. I like BG, but BG has been benefiting from Fletcher Cox. You get what I'm saying? Barnett, he has a lot of potential in his game, but the thing is, he is allowed to make certain mistakes because there's always that constant presence from the inside there. You get what I'm saying? If you take him out of the game, take Cox out the game, that's an easy runway for the run game because our linebackers haven't been really good for the last 2 years. You get what I'm saying? And everybody's just going to run. Now, let's pass rush. Okay? I just got to keep DN wise. BG's going to bull rush me. Let me sit down on it. It is what it is. Boom. If he bull rush me to the quarterback just rolls out. As opposed to I have a pressure coming from the inside. Now I have a pressure coming from the outside too. I'm kind of funneled. The only thing I can do is step up. And if I step up, one of those guys reaches out, they have a hand on the quarterback. That's a sack. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think Fletch makes everyone else around him better. And that's the part.
He is the best player on the defensive line. Yes, I definitely agree in that. He is the one that they're probably scheming for the most on that defensive line. And then, like we said, too, before with Aaron, too, hopefully now we'll be able to see a different side with a new defensive, scheme coming in here. You know what I'm saying? That scheme does limit everybody. They went a wide 9, before, which is, kind of spread out as opposed to being able to do a lot more line stunts, a lot more shifts and stuff like that to help disrupt that offensive line.
And I'll also say it like this. The wide 9 exposed our linebackers a lot as well. So in the wide nine, the big thing is get off as opposed to reading. So if you're in a regular 4-3 or a regular 4-2-5, a lot of times a defensive lineman is going to take one step, put their hands on man, peek and look, where's the ball? Where's the flow of the defense? With the wide nine, these guys are just getting upfield. And that's the thing. Beat your man to his spot, boom, then look for the ball. That's really the big premise of the wide nine. You get what I'm saying? It's very disruptive, but the thing is, you have to be able to cover for every mistake you make. That's the thing.
Then none of the other DT gives us anything. Nina said people think Fletch ain't doing anything. His presence is definitely known. Yes. And I don't disagree with either one of those. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, Hargrave's definitely got to give us a little bit more for the money we're paying that guy. You know, he came over here and, you know, he hasn't really done that much. He's been here. But
I don't think it's a fair comparison to put Cox to Aaron Donald, because Aaron Donald is something we've never seen before. You get what I'm saying? That is an outlier.
Comparison, like in terms of comparison though, with those two, like they're compared because Cox is the best run block in DT. You know, I mean, run stuff in DT in the league, and Aaron Donald's just the best DT in the league. You know what I'm saying? So if you're at 1 and 2, regardless, like how we say, you know, what's his name? Derrick Henry's the best running back in the league. So whoever's number 2, he's still good. You know what I'm saying? That's the only person you can even compare the two. I think that's why the comparison comes up to, because one's the best pass rush in DT and one's the best run stuff in DT. And that's the only real reason why people probably compare the two so much. Because then after those two, yeah, there's some good ones, but on their level, you know what I'm saying, of how they do it, I don't think there's anybody else in the league besides those two that do it that good.
Yeah. And put it this way, and here's the jump Aaron Donald makes. Aaron Donald is in that all-time conversation. Fletch is, this guy dominated the league for a 10-year stretch like no other.
Victory said Tim Jernigan gave him some pressures, played some good ball next to Fletch.
Yeah, he did. But the thing is, it was think about this: the rest of the defense was filled out around him as well.
I'm just like, how much do you really have to give? Like, you know, it goes back to the money thing. You know, if you're taking less money to do what you do, I'm completely satisfied with what you're doing for me. You know, that's the business side of it for me. I look at it, it's like, if you want to take less money and still give me that effort, you know, where you're not getting the sacks, you're just giving me, you know, good football play, consistent football play, you know, you're the best run stuffer in the league type stuff, then I'll be cool with it. But to get paid as much, like, I'm tired of people getting paid these big contracts and not playing better. You know, the more money you make, the better you should be playing. And it shouldn't be the opposite. And you're starting to see that a lot in the league. The opposite happens. The more money they make, the worse they're playing.
Definitely. And put it this way, it's right now, everyone is cashing in. If I have potential, I strike while the iron's hot. Like, what's the guy named? Bradbury. Bradbury was the number 1 highest paid corner in the league. He's not the number 1 corner in the league.
No.
I definitely get what you're saying.
Not at all.
Yeah.
1 trade yard for a year. Mitch, I'll get you that rent, my guy. He got injured and we dropped him. Yeah, that's what happened to Journey.
He had a back injury and he was never fully the same after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to the 14 in the chat. Please hit that like. You know, it goes a long way getting the fans more Bird Gang Nation sports talk out to the whole entire community. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube Live right now. Go ahead and hit that like on all 3 platforms for me, my guy. So, yeah, so now we're getting off of Fletcher Cox. How big of a season do you think Sweat can have this year?
I think Sweat can have a pretty good year. I don't think he's going to – I don't think Sweat – go ahead.
I said double-digit sacks?
At the very, very top end, yes. I don't think we're going to see too much difference from what we've seen from him in the past. I like Sweat, but the thing is, people like to gloss over Sweat's limitations. So in the run game, he's a true liability.
You think so?
Absolutely.
I think that dude's a beast regardless. Like, I think people are actually underestimating Sweat. You know, like he would if his knee, if you take away the knee, if like everybody could take away everything that you said about, Josh Sweat knee, and he didn't have to, take those first couple years in the league to actually get that knee right, get it healthy and stuff like that. This guy's a freak of nature, you know what I'm saying? He
was supposed to be a first round pick.
Yeah, he's supposed
didn't have any of that. I absolutely, I get it. The issue what I have with Sweat is when he has to take on a base block, he gets washed a lot. Mm-hmm. So either he can't get off the block.
So what is he only like 250 or something like that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, Barnett's the same size.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets washed too much for my liking. He can't set the edge. Barnett, at the same size, give or take a few pounds, can set the edge. And also he can dip in pass rush. The thing is, what we're seeing with Sweat is he goes speed to power, he long arms you, and then he does either some type of cross chop or, he probably makes some outside move, and that's how he gets pressure. And back to Fletcher Cox, a lot of times that quarterback is backing up because the pocket from the interior is getting pushed on him. Long arms, reach, grab. That's how he comes up with a sack.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, one of the things that we do need to watch out for is Sweat in the run game. Because we can't, other than one play last year, I can't tell you when Sweat has shown up in the run game.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? It's always been pass rush. But there's a major component that run side. What happens when you have a Nick Chubb and you're getting washed? Right. Now I'm putting Nick Chubb on a corner, and do you really want that matchup?
Right.
And that's how you get gashed.
Yeah. How do you think they're going to use Milton Williams this year? And, that we're talking about Aaron Donald. This is another guy that kind of has the same size, same structure, and actually starting to get those early Aaron Donald comparisons. How do you think? How did you see him this offseason so far?
I saw him struggle. A lot of people saw him. They said the two plays they point out was the sack that what's his name? T.Y. McGill had, and a few plays of him blowing up a tight end. But I looked at his game once he, especially the Patriots game, once the actual right tackle was on him, there was a stonewall. He was just locked out. That's it. He had no move to get off of it. He had nothing but just let me try and bull rush my way through it. The one play where the tackle got a holding call, he had bad positioning in general. That was on the tackle being out of position versus Milton Williams actually doing something that maybe, made someone adjust to him. And my thing is he's going to have growing pains. And one thing we haven't seen in the preseason where he's going to thrive at is stunts. That's his body type is made for stunting. He's made for your knit, TED stunts, knit stunts, all that stuff. He's going to be a penetrator because he's quick enough to the point of I can play DN, knife inside, hold my own with a guard, and it is what it is from there. And a lot of people, just a little nugget for everybody, everyone looks at the looper as the guy who's probably going to get the sack. Really, it's the penetrator. So the penetrator is the guy I'm setting up, say you're the DN, and it guards right beside you. He's setting up the tackle, moving him far enough back so you can clear the area for the shoulder of the guard. Once the DN sees that angle, he attacks the outside shoulder of the guard, D-tackle, whatever you want to say, nose, loops around you. Okay, all eyes are going with the D-tackle around you. They forget about you for half a second, or you have them in bad positioning for half a second. Now you can make a move to go get your sack. That's how, stunts are really ran at like the NFL and college level. So
yeah. And I will say this too, like on that note, what you're talking about with Williams is, I didn't like the fact that when he was playing against the third, when he had the extended play, I thought that would be a time you should see if he was that dominant. You should see more sacks and more, big plays happen is when he was going against the lower level talent, and I didn't really see that either.
Yeah, and my thing is, I don't evaluate a player off of like the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I look at them. Hey, are you doing your job? Are you dominating that rep? So it's more based on, hey, who won that rep between you and the offensive tackle? You get what I'm saying? Yes, you may have done your job, but the thing is, yeah, you did it by a hair because the play went the other way. If it ran right at you, you would have been washed.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. That's the way I look at it. And in the preseason, Milton Williams didn't win a lot of those reps against offensive tackles. He dominated tight ends. That's a different story.
Yeah.
But yeah, offensive tackles,
struggle with him a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is, like, I would rather see him dominate against the third and fourth streamers, because when we get to the season, he's going to be going against starters. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not doing, that's when, like you said, you should have been dominating a little bit more against the third and fourth team. Even though it is his rookie year, he still got time to grow. He will be getting developed, or as the season goes on, he's going to get a lot better. But at that time, the hype that he was getting, I thought we should have seen more bigger plays against the third and fourth team than we did, moving into the season. So that's just my take on that one.
Agreed. Yeah. Definitely.
What up, Peyton Lyons? What up, my guy? Thanks for stopping by. Hit that like while you're in here, my guy. I think when he gets his chance, Williams will be dominant. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like as he goes along, I definitely think as the year progresses, he's definitely going to learn a lot more. He's going to be doing a lot more, and he probably will become one of the dominant linemen. Like we're expecting him to, Jalen even said that, Cots might be gone this year. So it might be Hargraves and Williams next year. You know what I'm saying? Or like if my boy Marlon, USC, if my boy Marlon can come in there, and do his thing, then we can get him in there. He said, William be the reason why we get rid of Fletcher Cost next season. Yep, that's what we're saying. Yeah, he's going to get better. So how do you like the linebacker duel that we got with Wilson and Singleton?
I like Singleton. Singleton won me over a lot. Last year, I was saying, why do you have Singleton on the roster? He's just a special teams body. From what we were hearing in camp, he was struggling. Same thing I heard from Jordan Mailata. That's why I wasn't very high on those two players before they actually got into the game. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But now that I saw, Alex Singleton has some pop to him when he hits people. Mm-hmm. Alex Singleton has some little bit of passion. You see it. He enjoys playing football.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? He flies all over the field. I like him as a player.
Yeah.
I'm not going to overrate him as a player, but I really like him as a player. I'm fine with him being our starter. Either being that fill-in starter until we actually find an actual stud, or actually having him as the starting.
Now, he'd be a good starter, but not a great. He's not an elite linebacker, but he'd be a good starter for our team. He's a good starter. He never would be that Pro Bowl linebacker caliber type linebacker, but that
would not be surprised if he leads the NFL in tackles.
Yeah,
would not be surprised. But understand that leading the NFL in tackles and being a great linebacker are not the same thing. You get what I'm saying?
Like Wilson last year, being a top, top leader in tackles last year. But he also had sacks and he also had interceptions. You know what I'm saying? I'm really high on him. I think he's going to be the leader of the defense out of, all those guys. And, like people say, well, it was because Kendricks didn't play last year and Barr didn't play last year. But, that Vikings defense as a whole, were kind of garbage last year. But, the fact that he was able to step in, as another thing I take, no offseason, no real first team reps until the guys got hurt, didn't get in there and still produce those kind of numbers gives you high hopes. He's a young player still looking to become a star. And I think this could be that breakout year for him to become that linebacker star that we're looking for.
My issue with Wilson is I'm not even talking about the player. I'm talking about the contract.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a 1-year deal that he's 26 on.
Mm-hmm.
Our cap situation, if he booms like that, we're not gonna have enough to pay him.
You don't think even next year with the 45 we're supposed to have, and if we clear out some more by getting rid of some players, I know some players are getting let off the team. Some of these vets are not going to be here next year. You look at guys like Kelsey. We already talked about Fletch. I think if Lane Johnson doesn't show up this year, he might be another lineman that be out there next year.
I get what you're saying with the 45, but the thing is, 45 in the grand scheme of things is one of the lower numbers in the whole NFL. You know what I'm saying? And but think about it. Think about it as a player. You're gonna offer me $10 million a year. Why won't I go over here and get $14 million? And tomorrow's not guaranteed for me as a player. Hey, I had to scratch and claw my way up to actually getting this money. I'm cashing in when my first chance I get. So that's the part of the reason why I have an issue with the contract the player is on versus the actual player. If you had told me you had bought him in for 2 years or a 3-year deal worth $15 million, and you had deferred some of the money to the back half of the contract, but he's still getting paid that money, when he signs, that's a different story. But the fact that he's on a strictly 1-year deal, we're most likely going to lose him. And I'd rather have an actual guy we have under contract that's young take those growing pains and those lumps versus a free agent we brought in just to be competitive. And if he booms, he's gone somewhere else where they're going to pay him more money than what we're going to pay. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the only spot left is our secondary that we have not talked about. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really big on Mr. Nelson. I think
so we're in the same boat.
Mr. Nelson has not been showing me what all the hype was about. If you watched any of my videos, I was pushing for Howard, baby. Sell the house. Trade the house for Howard.
Damian Howard.
Yeah, get Howard over here on the ASAP, to put him with Slay. But we didn't do it. We waited, and we ended up with Steven Nelson. There had to be a reason why all 32 teams did not sign Steven Nelson for all those weeks, man. You know what I'm saying? He was sitting there. And I'm like, whoa, everybody's like, he's getting signed this week. It's getting that signed that week. The weeks went by, and he wasn't getting signed. And I think I'm starting to see that reason now because he has been the only cornerback that's consistently getting beat, whether it's players on our team or players on the other team. But the key common thread there is he's getting beat a lot.
Yeah. And my thing is, I have no problem with him being beat. The issue I have is if you look at him on the Steelers, listen to what they were saying about him. They weren't saying he wasn't an NFL cornerback. They weren't saying that he was, he was just, god awful, terrible. They were saying, yes, he's going to get beat, but when he gets beat, he's a lot of the reason why we lose. Wait, what? I don't want that guy. No.
Yeah.
Crunch time. He's the guy that gets picked on. So I know we're going into week 1 soon, but my thing is Steven Nelson has been an average quarterback throughout his whole NFL career. And I don't think average does anything spectacular for our secondary. You get what I'm saying?
I was on a boat where we could even let the young guy McPherson get his growing pains early and out of the way now. He's a bigger cornerback. He could have been a more physical cornerback.
Yeah.
You should have just let him ride it out the first couple, games and let him, take his lumps. And if JG's that, cornerback whisperer that he says he is, he would have got it done by the game 3 or so. You know what I'm saying?
And my thing is, for what this team is, I'd rather go ahead and figure out what I have with all my young guys than spend time with vets trying to see, oh, well, he's okay, but haven't really figured him out yet. He's on a 1-year deal. So I'm going to let my rookie that I draft, or my second-year player that I, picked up, sit behind him on the bench and not show anything, and versus throw them into the fire and figure out what's going on.
He said, yo, RIP, Michael K. Williams. Who's that?
From The Wire, I think.
Oh, from The Wire, okay.
Hold on.
Yeah, RIP, man.
I know that
Life
name.
is short. Life is short. So besides them, what about our secondary? I put a video showing that Rodney McLeod's looking good in that knee brace. You know what I'm saying? He's making cuts. He's doing everything. He's looking good. And it looks like there is a real possibility he's going to be ready for that Atlanta game. Do you think the tandem with Rodney McLeod and Al Harris would be as good as everybody ever think it's going to be? Because I'm a huge Harris fan. And Rodney, as long as he's healthy, I think he's one of the top safeties in the league.
I am not a Harris fan.
Oh.
So I'm not going to say he's not a good player. He's not average. He's not
a Pro
great.
Bowler.
Huh? Yes, he's a former Pro Bowler. That's a big distinction.
Last year, everybody had a down season. Pretty much. A lot of people had down seasons last year, so I don't really count that against him. But if you go to the season before last, he led the league in picks.
Do you remember who Eddie? What's the dude's name? Eddie. Was it Eddie? Not Eddie Goldston. Eddie Jackson is.
Was he he was on the Bears, right?
Yep. Eddie Jackson led the league in picks. But the thing is, when he has a down year, he's still a really, really good player. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. As opposed to when Harris led the league in picks, he was a really good player. The next year he fell down. He was an average player. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's my biggest thing. I'm not too high on him like other people are, because everyone thinks because he's back there, we're going to get, oh man, interceptions are going to come left and right. No, because if you look back on that season when he led the league in picks, a lot of those balls he had defensive pressure and they were thrown directly to him, and he just, boop, oh, I got the ball. Or it was basically an overthrow and boom, it landed in his hands. It was nothing like, okay, I got a crossing route that's going in front of me that they want me to take the bait on, and I peel back and pick something off on the fly route. It was nothing like that. It was always right place, right time. And I'm never going to discredit for somebody for doing their job or being at the right place at the right time. You have to get it done. But
and maybe people are so high on them too because they know that, the Vikings defense was garbage, but our defensive line is really good. So that's going to put a lot of pressure on these quarterbacks where you might see a lot of these type picks this year for us on our team.
I agree. I'm not going to say he's going to have a better year than last year. Mm-hmm. But my thing is, you've picked up this theme probably. I want to see young guys.
Yeah.
I want to see these young guys because he's on a 1-year deal. That 1-year deal that he's getting paid $5 million for, it's like $1 million against this year's cap, $4 million against next year's. And it's like we just keep kicking the can down the road. Still. Because I don't think we'll ever have that year where we'll have $80 million.
Oh.
Cap space, but we have young guys
on. You really shouldn't have that much money in cap space. If you're a good football team, because that means you got a lot of good players on your team. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing is, I'm looking at it this way. We've already acknowledged that we're going with the youth movement. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If you're a competitive fringe playoff team to an actual contending team, mm-hmm. That's one thing to have 40-ish mil because you're probably going to re-sign a guy. You're probably going to try and bring in one other guy. And then if a rookie comes up, you got to pay him. That's one thing. But the fact that we haven't paid any of our young players yet, so Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert needs to get paid. Jordan Mailata needs to get paid. Those are three guys that, well, I'm going to drop off Miles Sanders from getting paid because of the running back thing. But you have a left tackle that you're going to have to pay top end money. And you're going to have to pay a tight end $10+ million a year.
And if Sweat does his job, you got to pay him because Sweat and Barnett are both in contract years.
Exactly. So, and that's the thing. If any of these players boom, what money we going to pull from?
Yeah.
Who else we're going to bring in? And just because we cut people doesn't mean we get more cap.
We all know how to push the money.
But the thing is,
we can't
he's still digging us a hole at the same time. You get what I'm saying? Our heads are barely above water, but let me go ahead and keep weighing you out in deeper water. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel you. It says captains Cox, Kells, Hurd, Singleton, McLeod, and Graham. Are those the captains for sure? That what they named them today? Or are you saying that's who you think going to be the captains?
They probably named them today.
That's a nice group. I like it.
Yeah.
Those look like some.
What I'm surprised who's not. Oh, he's on this. Devils Singletary from
the linebacker
Temple.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a special teams guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. That's a really good sign for him.
Yeah, and I like those captains, man. Those are some of the hearts of the team, you know.
Yeah.
You got to have you got the quarterback and the center, and then the rest is like defensive lineman, linebacker, each level of the defense there. So
yeah,
I like those captains. I roll with that. You know, everybody else in the offense is kind of still too young to be putting them out there to do anything.
I just don't want Lane or BG as my captains.
Graham is the captain, it says.
No, Lane. I said BG. Sorry, Brandon Brooks.
Brandon Brooks. Sorry.
Don't want either one of those two as my captain. I need them as calm as possible before a game. Because I don't know if you ever heard the series. It was like an interview they had going on where, I hear Lane, in the morning in the hotels, like one room over, we talk to each other through the vents, throwing up in the morning. Oh, crap, I'm so nervous. And
yeah, we definitely don't want that.
Have them as cool, calm as possible starting the game. That's it.
He says Miles can't get a good first contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, not yet. He's still in improvement mode zone.
Let me ask a question. Would you re-sign Miles Sanders?
Yes.
How much?
Top 12 money. Top 12 money.
That means
you're right outside the top 10. But depending on if you re-sign him now as opposed to at the end of the season, if he does what I think he can do, then that's another story. But as of right now, what he's shown, his potential level, you know what I'm saying? I'll say top 12, top 13 running back money, whatever that is.
But what if he doesn't want to sign that money?
What up, Castro? Well, if he doesn't want to sign it, then you tell him to pay your butt off. You know what I'm saying? And I'll give you what you want if you show me. Like, if you earn the money, you can have it.
I got you.
But until you earn the money,
Yeah. My biggest thing is, with if he was a top 5 running back, you'd be looking at something like record-setting money. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Since he's outside the top, he's definitely outside the top 5. You're looking at that step below whatever the record-setting money is, and his agent's going to try and be pushing certain numbers and certain things that have to justify it. So my thing is, it could be expensive to keep Miles Sanders. Do we just start looking for another replacement for Miles Sanders already?
I think we kind of got him. Gainwell. You let Gainwell continue to develop. Like the league has came. Either you're a superstar running back where your team doesn't have to worry about having no other backs. You can just fill them in when you get tired throwing them in. or you're part of that rotation.
That
You know what
committed
I'm
scout.
saying? And I think Miles is right there on the cusp, but either, it's time to find out, are you the superstar running back that we think you can be, or are you just a rotational running back? And if you're the rotational running back, then, we don't have to give you that money, and we can move on for you, you know what I'm saying, anytime we want to, and get another Miles Sanders in there, you know what I'm saying, that might break off a big run. But like you said, I still on the boat about saying that Miles Sanders is, a legit, 3-down back. I think he can. I think last year he proved in glimpses that he could be. But like I said, football's mental, right?
Yeah.
And for Miles Sanders to get in the game, bust off an 80-yard run, and did not get the ball touched again until like a whole quarter and a half later. You know what I'm saying? That'll mess with anybody's head. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what brought the fumbles. That's what kind of brought out some drops and stuff like that, because he wasn't mentally in the game no more. Like, especially if you're a good back, I play running back all the way up to semi-pro. If I'm running good early, I'm telling the coach, give me the ball. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling this game. Just keep giving me the rock. Let me do my thing. You know what I'm saying? We can get it going from there. But Miles, you've seen a couple of times on the sideline last year, where Miles was mad that he wasn't getting the ball. You know what I'm saying? Because he's doing these big plays, but it's not staying consistently. We never were a consistently run the ball type team. So, that kind of messes with your psyche. And I think with the new coaching staff, I think it's a possibility that we can go ahead and keep him rolling. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think Miles is the best running back in our division. You know what I'm saying? Like, Saquon's not healthy enough. He hasn't proved that he can even be healthy at all for the last 2 years, 3 years. Zeke, ever since Zeke got paid, I don't know where Zeke's been, because I used to hate Zeke. You know what I'm saying? He used to light us up, even whether we won or lost, Zeke was always a constant of beating us. But ever since he finally got that big contract, his game went down, And then the rookie, Gibson, he's good and all, but he's still young. And I still think Miles has a higher ceiling than that guy does. So that's my take on that one.
I got it the other way around. I think we have the worst running back in the division.
You think we have the worst running back in the division?
Yeah, and I'm not calling Miles a bad running back, but I think as a whole, Saquon is special.
But how special is he when you can't stay on the field?
Saquon is doing all that without an offensive line. Like, he's taking the hit as soon as he gets the ball. You get what I'm saying? So some of that I can't blame on Saquon because of the circumstance he's been put in.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
But, but it's like you can't really blame it on Saquon. But the fact of the matter is, we have not seen consistent Saquon over the last, 2-3 years. He's been hurt, and he's only been in the league for how many years?
3.
And how many years have we seen him? 1 out of the 3?
I'll say 2. The reason why he came back pretty fast after that ankle injury, and I think the Giants that second year, not last year, the year before last, they didn't want to rush him back. He was ready. He was chomping at the bit to go. They didn't want to rush him back, so they held him out a little bit longer. So you got to play that. You got to put that into the in the framing of it. So Saquon, to me.
But for me, it's like, just like we didn't see Miles get the ball enough last year to prove that he could beat us back. If we don't see you on the field, it's hard for me to put you as being an elite running back.
But I'm saying, what?
I've seen that first year, but how many running backs come out in any position, come out and have a good year? You know what I'm saying? Where you're like super great 1 year, but then all of a sudden, like you said, that line started sucking. He started taking hits right away. Now, injuries is one thing that, talent or no talent, you get injured too many times, that's just what it is. You end up not going to be that.
That can be a career killer.
Huh?
That can be your career killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've seen them take major injuries, you know what I'm saying? And then their line this year hasn't got that much better.
No.
So, it's going to be more of that. Boom, you're going to be getting hit a lot. You know what I'm saying? They did upgrade the receiving core a little bit. But, man, Danny Food Stamps is still throwing the ball. So, as long as he's back there throwing the ball, man, I'm not worried about none of those receivers.
I get what you're saying. Like, my whole thing on Saquon is, I think even after the first year, we've seen it. The second year after the ankle injury, we saw him still just hey, 4 guys hit him behind the line of scrimmage, he still gains 2 yards somehow. Mm-hmm. And I think that he's special. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's the best running back or anything like that, but I've identified him as special. Like, we're not going to see anything like that too often. I'm not going to compare him to Barry Sanders, but you get some of the same feeling with him and Barry Sanders, even though they're two different packages of a running back. You get what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yes.
And
I don't give nobody no Barry Sanders love. No,
that
might be one of all time. Yeah, but see, Saquon and Miles came from the same college, and that's another reason why I think we got off better getting Sanders over Saquon, because Saquon took this same beating in college. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had 300 carries a season type thing. He was the bell horse there too, to the point where he has a lot of tread taken off those tires already.
Yeah, I agree.
And then to go into the league where you're still getting injuries, you're still getting, major injuries. Like, I don't know, running backs' careers short-lived anyway. And, on the pace you're going, my guy, you're going to be out of the league in the next 2-3 years.
Oh, no. Not 2-3 years. No, that's way too soon for Saquon.
Well, I'm saying in terms of actually.
Oh, you're talking about injury history.
Yeah. And being relevant as an elite running back, still have your window of being an elite running back in the league, because you go 3-4 more times where you're missing out majority of the season. People aren't going to really view you that way.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Now the other big elephant in the room is Zeke.
Yeah,
now, he got paid. I do see what you're saying, but at the same time, that offensive line won't the same either. And I think Zeke was a little bit overhyped, but at the same time, Zeke was also special.
So you saying those first 2 years, you think that those first 2 years with Zeke, you think that was overhyped?
No, the reason why I say it's overhyped because that offensive line was so good. So it was the Emmett Berry conversation that we're dealing with in our division with 2 lesser running backs. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Zeke had that great offensive line. He gets a full head of steam.
Mm-hmm.
Running backs trying to arm tackle him. That's not going to happen. Safeties, good luck. Corner, why you even trying? He's going to the house. Then it was, all right, let me go ahead and take what I can get Zeke for the last, was it last year or the year before last? When
last year, Zeke fumbled the ball a lot. And it was off of a lot of BS plays where it's whoa, why'd you even fumble right now?
I'll tell you the truth. That was being disinterested.
Yeah. That's what it seemed like. He was just disinterested in the game last year.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he didn't try anything like that. He was disinterested. You can see it in his body language. Yeah, I'm getting the ball. Yeah, I'm getting some numbers, but we really ain't winning. Y'all stacking the box against me. Why do I even need to really go super, super hard? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm going to just do it at my pace, get my numbers, get in, get out. I'm not saying he didn't want to win or anything like that. I'm just saying it's the mindset you subconsciously fall into when you're having a tough season.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel you on that one. Yeah. So you're saying, so go ahead. What'd you say the order you had them in? You had
I got Zeke. I got Zeke 1.
Yeah.
Even though it's tough after last season, I have Saquon 2, have Gibson 3, have Sanders 4.
Man.
The reason why I have Gibson above Sanders is because he does so much, and from what I've seen with Washington, he's done more in that 1 year than Miles Sanders has done for us his entire career. Yeah.
But hey, Jinx, I've seen that, man. Much love to that guy. Prayers to his family. You know what I'm saying? Definitely a great actor out there. Another one down is very sad, my guy. Yeah. But Gibson's the only person they had on that offense. That's why he has so much more production. It'd be like if
they stacked the box against him. I've never seen anybody stack the box against Miles Sanders.
You haven't? Well,
no.
Because Miles Sanders didn't get the ball enough for teams to stack the boxes against him. They knew that Eagles were going to pass the ball 60 times a game.
Yeah, but at the same time, we haven't seen it. And we're saying we haven't seen it. He's done it against it. We don't have that luxury over this side. So that's why I'm putting Sanders forward. And the way I'm looking at this, I'm not looking at it from a fan's perspective. I'm looking at it, if I'm an outsider, I have no horse in the race. Which one of these, what's the order I'd rather have these guys at? If these guys are in the NFC West, which one would I take? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I'd probably go Sanders, Gibson, Zeke, Barkley.
Wow. You totally flipped.
Because I think Sanders, if you were to give him those carries, he would have showed you that he's the best back in the league. And then I got Gibson because, like you said, he was really the only back that consistently produced at a high level last year.
Now we're getting that coulda, woulda, shoulda conversation.
And then you got Zeke because Saquon didn't play.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I see where you're coming from. If you're saying if Sanders had the same opportunities that those guys had, he'd produce more.
Yes,
but at the same time, from what we've seen, those other guys have shown more than what Sanders has shown because of the circumstances that he was in.
He's the only guy to run for 3 80-yard touchdowns in the same season.
No 8-man boxes. That's a big thing.
But it's a big thing. But it's only because everybody knew the Eagles that Dougie P was a horrible coach that thought he could set up the pass with the pass. In reality, everybody knows you got to set up the pass with the run. That's a coaching flaw. That's not a Sanders flaw.
Absolutely. Because guess what? I was calling for Peterson's head last year. And I think he should. I'm looking back on it. I think he should have been fired. The reason why is because his failure to adapt and adjust to his ever-evolving roster and the situations he was going in. He went into games with solid game plans, but the thing is, he kind of eliminated the player element out of it the whole way. Yeah. And it was
even when his starting receivers were down, he's like, I'm still throwing 50-yard bombs.
Exactly.
7 steps, drops.
I don't have –
it don't matter
2 years ago, we don't have any guys who can run. Yeah. Why am I still trying to throw a long ball if everything is going to be congested around the line of scrimmage?
Yeah.
And
every year after that Super Bowl, Dougie P's coaching definitely went down the drain.
And I do think Frank Wright played a big factor in that.
Yes, it does show that Frank Wright was a bigger part of that Super Bowl run. But it's like, if you really looked at it, Dougie P, even after Frank left, it's like, why'd you switch it up when Foles came back in the game? Or why'd you switch it up when McCall came in the game to play? You know what I'm saying? Like, why you're switching it up when these other quarterbacks? I just think he thought that Carson Wentz, whenever Carson was in the game, he needed to for sure throw those 60-yard bombs every down.
See, the issue was with last year. I can tell you, last year and 2 years ago, if you ever look, we always got off to slow starts. And honest to God, we could, as fans, we could predict the plays going on. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as a fan, if we know the plays going on, the defense knows the plays going on. Carson is a rhythm quarterback. We've seen it time and time again. Carson sometimes has those slow starts, whether it be his fault, whether it be that we have no running game, whether it be a penalty, whether it be the game plan, anything like that. Fine. But once Carson went into 2-minute mode, oh crap, we went 80-some yards on 7 plays for a touchdown. What in the world just happened? That's not even the same quarterback we had there. And that's the thing that Doug Peterson never utilized. He never understood that Carson Wentz was a rhythm-based quarterback. You get him in rhythm, then that's when he starts doing amazing things. You keep him out of rhythm. You give him, herky-jerky stuff. all right, he's not gonna have solid footing. He's gonna try and wing a lot of stuff, force a lot of stuff because our offense is stale now. That's case in point of last year.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, man, let's go before we get into your all-time Eagles list. I need to get you some predictions from you for this game one. You know, Atlanta. I think this should be easy. It's a good first game for the Eagles. First off,
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? There's enough talent on that offensive side to keep the defense on their toes. You know what I'm saying? But I do believe their offensive line, defensive line is not good. And their defense in whole is not that great. And they definitely don't have no cornerbacks. So our young receivers should be able to light these guys up. So I have the score 31-10, or maybe 31-17, but more like 31-10. I think, at the beginning of the game will probably start out a little bit closer since it's the first game of the season. But by that, second half, late second quarter to second half, we definitely should start lighting them up.
Yeah. See, I think we'll also win it, but I see it the other way around. I don't think that the passing game is going to win this game for us. It's going to be the running game. The way Atlanta is built, they're built very small. So you look at their DNs, you look at their linebackers, those guys a lot of them are underweight. Like I know he's gone. What's his name? Tack McKinley. He was like 260, 250-ish, and he was their bookend on that team. That's not really going to get it done. His play style was a bit more finessey than it was, hey, I can hold my own, butt up and just hold the line versus let me run around you and see if I can make a play. That was his style. And I think with our offensive line and how physical they are, you can easily move these guys. And that's why I think Jordan Howard is going to be the real MVP of game one against Atlanta. Because, they have speed. And so that's another thing. They have a lot of speed on that defense. And you're going to need to punch them in the mouth a few times, just so you can go ahead and get some, momentum going. And that's why I think Jordan Howard, that hammer, is really going to do some damage with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what will be the score prediction?
Probably have it around 24-20, 24-17, one of the two. The reason why I'm more optimistic about a win versus a loss is because that team lost Julio. Julio is a big deal. But I do think Calvin Ridley is a fine number one wide receiver without Julio. We've seen that before.
But you think he'll suffer from everybody do hype up Ridley, but all those Alabama boys from Julio, Ridley, Judy, all of them, Devontae, all these guys are like good route runners and great, receivers in general once they hit this league. But do you think Ridley played a lot better last year because he had Julio taking up that number one cornerback? So it was like the talent level. He was always going against second or third, tier talent as opposed to that every team's number one.
It was actually, I think it was the opposite. So when Julio was out for, I think it was a big chunk of the season, Julio was out maybe, I think 6, 8, 10, something like that. But Calvin Ridley was the person seeing the number one corner who was getting bracket coverage, and he was still finding ways to get open. And I think Matt Ryan's a good enough quarterback to the point of, hey, you make a mistake, he's going to capitalize on it. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's a great quarterback, but the thing is, he's more than serviceable. He's a good quarterback. If you have all the pieces around him, I feel safe running. I feel safe with him leading the team to the Super Bowl. I'll say it like that.
Jinx says, I want Miles Sanders to be RB2 and Gainwell to be RB1. Wow. Not yet, Jinx. Not for me. I think I want to like if we give him the chance this year and he's not producing with the carries, with the volume, and he doesn't produce, then yeah, we start looking at moving on. But before we give up on Miles Sanders, we definitely need to give him the ball, at least 15, 20 times a game, And then once we hit that level, if he doesn't produce the numbers, then yeah, think about moving on from him. But I'm not really ready to give up on Miles Sanders yet. But yeah, man.
I'll say the one thing people have to look at with Miles Sanders. I just want when you watch Miles Sanders run, look at his patience. So a lot of the times he gets a bit too antsy and tries to hit holes that aren't there. He's trying to time it right, as opposed to let me slow down, let me pace my steps, let my blockers take on the responsibilities and open the holes. He tries to, I think you might be getting there about now, so I'm gonna try and time it, and he runs in the back of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
His vision and his anticipation are his biggest flaws right now, in what he can do. So just keep an eye on that going forward, because if he improves that, hey, we might be on to something here with Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say a top 5, not even going to say a top 8 running back, but
I think the ceiling is top 5, man. I think it's ceiling's like top 5, top 3 in the league. Could even look at the stat. Did you see that stat that they had last year against the top 10 rush stopping defenses? He had more yards than Derrick Henry did have against the top 10 rush defense last year. I think they said Henry had like 524 and he had like 542 against the top ranked run stopping defenses. That's a huge fact, I think. And people.
But here's the thing: those two are treated completely different. So Henry, you got 9 people in the box. You got an army trying to take him down. Miles Sanders, they're passing the ball. What? Oh, it's a run. What the world? That's what you get with Miles Sanders. That's what we saw. So it's. I get what they're saying. Yes, the stat is probably accurate, but the thing is, the context around those stats aren't the same. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. If you told me it was Zeke and Henry, and Zeke had more yards, oh, well, I didn't think he had that good of a season, but you look at that, well, he actually did do his job. But once you tell me the context around it of how teams are playing them and things like that, it's one of those things where you can kind of fudge anything to make it look better than what it actually is.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Right. Let's get into your all-time Eagles team. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you watch the show. You know the rules. Don't worry about nobody else's comments. This is your team, my guy. For as long as you've been watching.
I got my eyes on the comment section right now.
All right. So let's start off, my guy. Who's your starting quarterback and who's backing them up?
I'm starting. Well, I'll say it like this. My thing is I'm only sticking to players that I've seen.
Okay.
I've sat back. I've watched games of older Eagles teams and everything like that. I didn't grow up. I didn't live it. I didn't understand football back then, things like that. But now I understand what I'm looking at. So, number 1, Donovan McNabb being backed up by Carson Wentz.
Nice. I like that. Top 3 running backs.
So, number 1 is going to be Shady all day for me. Number 2 is going to be Westbrook. Number 3, Deuce.
Yeah, I love Big Deuce Staley.
Now, the argument for me is, it's going to sound crazy to a lot of people, Deuce versus Jordan Howard, even though Jordan Howard was here for a short amount of time.
That does sound crazy.
Jordan Howard, go ahead.
I said that does sound crazy, though. I feel you on that.
But I look at it like this. When Jordan Howard, before he got to us and while he was in Eagles clothes and before he got hurt, Jordan Howard, you could have had a case to saying, yeah, he might have been one of the best running backs since 2000 for the Eagles. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It took him getting hurt for Miles Sanders to even go through his growing pains and figure stuff out to the point of, okay, yeah, we feel comfortable letting him go. Then we found out, crap, we do need him back still. So we brought him back again and again. Okay. So that's where that justification came from.
I'm gonna say I like your Deuce pick. That's what I'll leave it. You
still think I'm crazy though. You still think I'm crazy for Jordan Howard. It's cool.
Let's go with your top 2 tight ends, even though it seemed to be the same 2 majority of the time. Let's see what you got.
Ertz and Selleck, or Ertz and Goddard still?
Ooh.
Ertz and I'm going Ertz and Selleck.
Ertz and Selleck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think the body of work for Selleck gets overshadowed a lot. And this is from what I've seen throughout the years. I'm not going too far back in all the back then tight ends, but I think they've been the best 2 since I've been watching.
I always feel like Selleck and Chad Lewis are kind of the same. Like their toughness, they weren't really the best receiving tight ends in the game, but they were consistent. They made the catches. They made it key catches at key times, and they were just diehard Eagles. You know what I'm saying? They give their body for the Eagles and give up everything they got.
I think my bias may be based off of, because when Chad was playing, I was probably what, 5, 6, 7, 8 ish. You get what I'm saying? Versus when Selleck was there, I was probably it was in my early teenage years. And you remember that stuff. He's more fresh on my mind. Yeah. So I think that was my probably leaning towards for him. But yeah, I do get what you're saying with that. Yeah.
And what about 4 receivers?
T.O., Macklin, D-Jack. This is not in that order, but Jordan Matthews.
All right.
Yeah.
Jordan Matthews making the squad.
And now that's saying something for our last 20 years of wide receivers.
Yeah, definitely saying a lot with Jordan Matthews on that squad.
Yeah.
Go with your starting off at the line.
Peters, Thomas, Harrimans, Kelsey, Brooks.
Nice. That's very solid. Defensive line.
Fletch. This is going to be my one that I reach back because I've actually there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You definitely have to put Reggie on there.
Right.
No ifs, ands, buts about it. That's disrespectful. But
very disrespectful.
yeah. Cox and Reggie. Javon Curse and Trent Cole.
The freak, yeah.
I love Trent Cole as a player.
Yeah, I love Trent Cole too. I miss that guy. Give me 3 linebackers.
Trotter, Takeo Spikes. Who else we got here? Trotter, Takeo Spikes. Oh, man, this one tough. Not Ike.
Ike Reese.
What's the other guy? No, not Ike Reese.
D'Amico Ryans.
No, I'm going back. Sorry, this is another older
Seth
player.
Joyner?
There you go, Seth Joyner. I mean, because anybody else, it looks kind of funny with our all-time team. Yeah.
Let's go 3 cornerbacks.
All right, so Lito, Asante, and I'll go Sheldon.
Sheldon?
Still.
Nice.
Yeah.
3 safeties.
Doc, Jenkins, Quentin.
Quentin McHale?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I think is that the first time Quentin McHale made the list?
Yeah.
Might be the first time. As far as I can remember, that's the first time Quentin McHale made the list. I
Now,
like it.
The only reason why is because of the range I kind of set myself out of and the players I've seen. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he was a good player too. You know, Quentin
Yeah.
McHale played some good football for us, so he definitely deserves to be there. And what about your kicker?
Oh, David Akers. Oh, easy.
Okay.
Pick one.
Cameron Johnson.
Huh?
Donnie Jones, Cameron Johnson.
Sure.
Which one?
I'll go Donnie Johnson. I like Donnie Jones.
All right. Who's gonna be the defensive coordinator for this team?
Jim
Johnson.
Yep. Offensive coordinator, head coach Andy Reid.
Head coach Andy Reid. Yep.
Yeah.
And offensive coordinator. He gets both roles. That's why picking Andy Reid as your head coach, you picking him as your offensive coordinator, my guy.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Jalen, man, it's been a blast, man. This definitely went. We're at hour 41. Definitely good stream, and I hope everybody appreciated that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys can, hey, if you need Jalen, hit him up on Twitter. Go ahead and give him your Twitter handle, Jalen, in case they want to get you on the stream sometime.
I'm not on Twitter. I'm on Twitter, but I'm not really on Twitter, so I have no clue what my Twitter handle is.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Look it up.
Well, hey, he's a super fan, so you guys look him up. If you find him, you find
Look,
him. You don't. You always.
You'll find me in a lot of these chats.
Yeah.
Just reach out to me there.
Reach out to him there. It was a great show again. Please hit that like on the way out. Like I always say, everybody, fly, Eagles, fly. And until next time, this was Bird Gang Nation Sports Talk. I am Bird Gang 31, and we are out. Peace.